Welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video I'm suggesting 5 loan signings Walsall could potentially make this summer transfer window. We've had some good success over the last couple seasons with loan signings, the likes of Liam Bennett from Cambridge, Freddie Draper from Lincoln, even Danny Johnson from Mansfield was a successful loan signing. The only trouble we have had with the loan signings, that them 3 have been recalled in January, and it kind of affected us going into the second half of the season. So we've got to be strategic with our loan signings. We've got to be, we've got to analyse it thoroughly, really, and hopefully not be highly dependent on these loan signings. We want to bring in good, talented loan players, but if you look at the theme from our last couple of loan signings, we were signing loan players from the lower divisions. If we go for more from the Championship Premier League side, they're not going to, at their age, really, the ones I'm going to suggest, not going to break into the first team at them side. So I think we should be looking at that route, and let's have a look who I've suggested. So the first player I've got, let's go into the goalkeeping area. Obviously Walsall, without 2 goalkeepers currently, it's looking like Jackson Smith hasn't signed a new deal. Fingers crossed he can put pen to paper to a new contract. Owen Evans has been released, so Walsall potentially could be looking to sign a goalkeeper on loan, but ideally we want 2 permanent goalkeepers. I know we've got George Barrett, who just signed a professional deal, but he'll more than likely be going out on loan himself. So a lone goalkeeper I've suggested is Tommy Simkin from Stoke City. I thought, obviously he was on loan at Solihull Moors at the start of the season in the National League. I thought he looked really good there. He looked comfortable. He was there number 1, and the Solihull Moors fans really rated him. Stoke then recalled him just to play 1 game in the Championship. I think he conceded a couple in that game, but would have been a good experience for him as a young lad. Then he got loaned out to League 2 side, Forest Green Rovers. Couldn't really break into the team there, but let's be honest, the atmosphere around Forest Green last season was toxic, to be honest with you, and wasn't a great environment for him. But there's no doubt he is a talented goalkeeper with a lot of potential. What I'm really impressed with him, he's really comfortable on the ball. Most goalkeepers now coming up through the academies have to be comfortable on the ball. It's the modern game, really, the plan, to have a goalkeeper that's comfortable with the ball, because it gives you an extra dimension when you've got possession, and ultimately an extra man when on the ball. And he's also a good shot stopper, really good at saving penalties as well. He's a Walsall lad as well. I think he was born in Walsall, so this one makes sense, really, and I'd go all out and sign Tommy Simkin on loan from Stoke. Next loan signing, I looked at centre-backs, even though we're quite well stocked in centre-backs at the moment. Obviously we've got Taylor Allen, Evan Weir from Drogheda, who's going to come in and he can play left centre-back. And then you've got, your 2 central centre-backs, you've got your Priestley Farquharson. And then your right centre-backs, you've got Harry Williams and Donovan Daniels. So we're quite well covered in centre-back at the moment, but I think it would be a perfect opportunity maybe to explore the loan market with this one, to add some good competition and depth. And the player I've gone with is Zach Abbott from Nottingham Forest. Really impressed for Nottingham Forest in Premier League 2 last season. He was actually put up for Premier League 2 Player of the Year at 17, 18 years old. Is a credit to him, really, and I think that's why Nottingham Forest rate him really highly. Playing under 21s football at 17 years old, but as a player he looks like one that could be a bright spot for Nottingham Forest's future, really. Made his debut when he was 16 years old in the Carabao Cup, so there's a lot of potential there. And like I've said before, Forest obviously rate him. He's going to probably be a big part of their first team plans going forward. But I think a loan move out to a League 1, League 2 side, potentially National League, if he wants to get greater experience of men's football, could be one that Nottingham Forest look at, and I think Walsall should be after it if he's available on a loan. He can play centre back, but can also play in midfield as well, so showing good signs of versatility there, and obviously that would really help for Walsall. Reminds me of some of the clips of a very similar type player to Oisin McKenty, really strong and very athletic, so you can see why he can play in both centre back and midfield. There's one of the clips, I put it on screen now, is an absolute brilliant tackle, and yeah, I think he's got a good future ahead of him. I looked at left wing back and we're looking very light at left wing back at the moment. Only got Liam Gordon available there. So maybe going into the loan market in this position could be one that makes sense for Walsall really. And I think the player put forward for this one is Jacob Slater from Brighton. Played in their Premier League 2 last season. I believe he played 14 games, 3 assists. But yeah, looks like a solid player and one that's highly rated throughout his time in his career so far. Had his young career at Preston before leaving when he was 18 to join Brighton's youth setup. And even Ryan Lowe, the manager at Preston, really rated him at the time when he left. He said he's going to be a phenomenal player. So I think a loan move out to the EFL is needed. Only played 3 times for Preston before leaving when he was 18, and hasn't featured for Brighton's first team. I think it's key with a lot of these players. Premier League, Premier League 2 youth football is very different to EFL football or even National League football. It's a completely different game, the adults' game. So a move and the experience around the place in an EFL setup, they need it really. And I think going in for Jacob Slater would be a good one. Looks like a solid all-round left back. Could provide really good competition for Liam Gordon. I was going to look for a loan signing at right wing back, but I think we should leave that one and really sign a top right wing back on a permanent one. I'll be looking at, I've suggested it before, Joel Senior is available from Morecambe, really solid right back or right wing back if you need to play him there. So I think we should look at a permanent one for that. But I think someone that could provide with some really good competition in midfield is Zach Wells Morrison from Crystal Palace. He's 20 years old now. He's been playing Premier League football for the last couple of years, and he really needs to go and get a loan move, get some EFL experience away from Palace, first team football. And I think a team like Walsall would be a good move for him. I think he adds you a different dimension in the midfield. Firstly, really, he's left-footed. I think the only left-footed player we have got in that midfield is Ryan Sturck. Obviously, we've got Ronan May coming back as well, but he's more of an attacking midfielder. So he'd be a similar, coil to Ryan Sturck. They could compete against each other. Can play defensive midfield, central midfield, attacking midfield, and he's got that creative spark about him. His range of passing as well looks really good. One of the clips, there's a great ball in behind to the left wing back over all the opposition defence to break the lines really and get in and get a goal ultimately. Looks a really good player. I heard Northampton were after him in January, but that deal fell through. So I think League One clubs could be looking at him, but hopefully Walsall could be looking at one like this. The final player I'm going to suggest plays as a striker. Obviously Walsall have had a couple of really good loan strikers over the recent seasons really. Freddie Draper, even Danny Johnson. So maybe he's not one Walsall really want to take a risk again with, but I think going for loan players in higher divisions, in your Premier Leagues, your Championships, they are less likely to be recalled. So maybe looking at a player like Ronnie Stutter from Chelsea could be a really good signing for Walsall. If you just go off his stats alone in Premier League 2, 11 goals in 14 games, but if you look at the bigger picture and you look at some of the goals he scores a real good variety of goals. He's got really good pace about him, really good 5-10 yard burst of acceleration from the mark. He looks a really dangerous player, he gets in behind really well, but his link up play to bring in other players as well looks pretty tidy as well. Like I said, 11 goals in 14 games in Premier League 2. I know it's hard to base off how he'd get on in the EFL, but it's worth a shot, isn't it, I think. And he's quite a smaller striker, so would add a different dimension to our play. We've got Jamil Matt, who's quite a big striker at the moment, and then you've got a Danny Johnson. Who knows what's going to go on with him. Hopefully he does stay and we get the best out of him, but he's more of a poacher. Most of his work comes in and around the 18-yard box, so more of a active and mobile striker like a Ronnie Stutter could really work for Matt Sadler. We all know Matt Sadler likes to press from the front. He likes energy in his players, so Ronnie Stutter could fit this fit. 19 years old, so he really needs to go out and have a loan move Like I said, it's an odd one where he'll end up. He could end up in the Championship, and this one could be really far away. But it's worth mentioning a really good player here, and he's got real good potential about him. So, Walsall, if he was available for a League Two side, I'd go for him. So there you have it. I've suggested 5 loan signings Walsall could potentially make this summer transfer window. Just to note, these are just more suggestions and opinions, really. Some of these could end up higher up in the football pyramid, playing League One, Championship football on loan, or they could end up in League Two. We'll wait and see. That's the nature of the transfer window. Some of them could stay with their respective clubs and continue to develop as a player in youth football. We'll wait and see, but just a video idea and some suggestions in this transfer period as we wait for the new season to start now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on these suggestions. Should we be heavily reliant on loan signings this summer transfer window, or should we go for fewer and less? If I was Walsall, I'd be going for fewer and less, really. We saw how that happened in the last couple of seasons, and we should be using loan signings just for squad fillers. But we'll wait and see. If we get a good loan signing on board and to stay the whole season and help us to ultimately get our goal of promotion, then we'll all be buzzing. So thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Up the Saddlers.